Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerdpocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
And Terrence.
What's up?
All right, guys, we are back. We have a lot checked out and a little bit of news. So let's get right into it. Checked out this week. You guys watched, or I think, Micah, you watched, did you watch all of the Mr. McMahon documentary?
Yeah, all 6 episodes, all 6 hours of it.
Wow.
I had an interview today, so I was on all day. So yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So what you guys think? I haven't seen any of it.
You know, I didn't get much out of it, probably because I'm a fan of wrestling. If you are not a fan of wrestling, or if you are a very, very casual fan of wrestling, you might get a little more out of it than I did. The issue with doing a documentary like this, something that is like both niche and incredibly popular, is that the people who are in it pretty much know everything that's about it, that it's about. And it wasn't really a documentary about Vince McMahon, the person. It was more of a history lesson of WWE. Like each episode kind of went through the different eras, and you know, they talked about the same shit that, you know, everybody knows, right? The Montreal screw job, right? Like you might not have known you know, if you are a very casual person, you know the Montreal screw job, but you might not know of the first screw job that Vince did. That's in there. You know, everybody knows about Owen Hart, but you know, they go into it a little bit more. Like you see Owen's blood on the ring as they're, you know, wrestling, because like that was a Vince call to have the show, you know, go on. You know, the first episode and the first episode kind of delves into his life as before he became Vince McMahon, right? Some of that was interesting, but like they only kind of touch on it. You know what I mean? Like he didn't have a good relationship he didn't really know his father, and he was like sexually abused by his mom. But like that's it. Like that's all they say, right?
Yeah, like that's kind of a big deal.
Like, you know, I wanted to get into the psyche of this man. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And this was more of a, you know, WWE history lesson. Like they talk about like the rise of Stone Cold and the rise of The Rock, and you know, they talk about the Undertaker streak. Like I wanna talk about like this dude. I want to talk about this guy, what makes this guy tick. And the last episode was the most interesting, because, you know, it's the juxtaposition of, you know, Vince McMahon's kind of like a father figure to a lot of these people. And, you know, Bruce Pritchard's on there like, oh, well, you know, I you didn't show the human side of Vince. And then 2 days later, the Janelle Grant stuff comes out. And it's like,
yeah, that's the real human side.
Right. So like, the documentary did touch on the Janelle Grant stuff in the 50th minute of the last episode.
Oh, come on. I want the depraved piece of shit Vince McMahon story. Like that's what I want.
Yeah, I want, you know, I get that, like, I don't know. This isn't what I expected. But it was a fun little trip down memory lane. You know, some people were kind of wilding. Like Hulk Hogan's in it, so you know Hulk Hogan is wilding. You know what I
mean? What ridiculous lie did he say that there's 700 days in a year or something?
I mean, you know, he's basically, you know, doing Hulk Hogan. Like they illustrated that like Hulk Hogan is a snitch ass bitch, right? Like, I mean, hey brother, I told him they were they were trying to start a union, so I ran over to the boss and I licked his boots, brother. I said, hey man, you know what they're trying to do over here, brother? Like, it's you and me forever, brother. Like, all right, nigga.
Yeah, Vince is like, all right. Like, thanks, but whatever.
Hey, keep your ass over there, man. They talked about the Monday Night Wars, right? Like, and I get it. Like, there's always new people coming in every day who might not know this stuff. But if you put it this way, if I say the name Dave Meltzer and you know who I'm talking about, this documentary is not for you.
I don't know who that is.
So you might get more enjoyment out of it.
Like, maybe I know that person by sight or something, but yeah, I don't know that name. All right,
yeah, I didn't get anything out of it. I didn't get a goddamn thing out of this. I watched it. I was just like, the first, like you said, I would have rather gotten into his psyche. The thing about Vince McMahon is he's not going to let you do that. So it's no point. Because there's some things in the first episode. They ask him, he's like, even I don't really know more. I don't even know myself. I'm 78 years old. I'm still not 100% who I am. And I'm like, your upbringing clearly shaped who the fuck you are.
Right.
And you probably haven't had therapy because you're 78 years old.
Yeah. You ain't done it now.
And you don't believe in any of that shit, right? He didn't know his father. He didn't know his real father until he was 13 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, he was 13 and his real father came up and he was like, oh, hey, fella. You know what I'm saying? And then he just kind of went along with him. And yeah, if you've listened to the Behind the Bastards episode of him, because that was also like 6 parts also. It's the same shit. The difference is it's in Vince McMahon's words, the words that he wants you to hear, right? Because again, he's not giving away the goal. He's not giving you anything that you don't want. He doesn't want you to know about. He got a little bit into and he's got some weird sexual proclivities. He even admitted, I cheated on my wife.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I did. And he's like, I loved her, but still cheated.
Yeah,
there was one thing.
Are they still together? Are they still together?
Yeah, she looks like Hillary Clinton now. It's really weird. But I was like, what the hell is going on with Linda? There was something in the first sexual assault case that he had. It was I think it was like 88 or 89 or something like that. It was the referee, first female referee that the WWF had, and she was on Geraldo or Donahue. And she's telling the story. And there was one thing, this was me being an asshole now, right? And I don't know what the hell happened. He settled. So if I didn't do it, I'm going to, we're going to go into litigation hell. I'm just going to pay as much as I possibly can till I don't have to pay you shit. Because if I didn't do it, fuck you. But so he settled. But she says, and this is her account. He's like, hey, you want to do this thing? And she's like, no, I don't want to. And then he forced himself on her. And she said, no, I don't want to do this. And then she says to the effect of, hey, if you want this $500,000 a year contract, you're going to do this. And I expected the documentary to smash cut to him saying, well, that's absolutely preposterous. There's no way in hell I was going to pay her $500,000 a year. That's ridiculous. And I'm like, I don't believe you gave. I'm like, you didn't get a $500,000 a year. No, you didn't. Nah, that's Hogan money.
Like he's a scumbag, but he's also cheap.
Right. I was like, hell no. So what was your
don't pay
real
for health insurance? Like he not getting you that kind
right. You got to get your own. Yeah. I was like, I don't believe that's what your contract stated. That's crazy. But everything else, yeah, you probably did all that shit. It's
and worse.
I honestly don't even know what the fuck the big deal was about this. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix, so a lot more people are going to watch it. It's probably going to be number one for a week because of the whole hype around it. But there really was no need for all the hype. There was a lot of wrestlers that say, "Hey, he was like a father figure to me." But then you get to the last episode, Shane McMahon is like, he was. I mean, yeah, he loves me, but I just wanted that nigga to tell me that shit, right? Oh. And I had to jump off a fucking cell
right
before he was like, "Good job, son." Almost kill myself. It was crazy. So he was more of a father figure to the wrestlers that he created than he was to his own children.
I mean, in fairness, what does he know about being a father, right?
Yeah, because his father wasn't fucking.
Yeah.
His stepfather was a piece of shit. So it's
Right.
it's things like that. That's what I wanted.
That's what I
Like
wanted.
that last episode, he had a fucking storyline. I think this was episode 5, where Stephanie was like, absolutely not. Where she got pregnant and he was going to say,
yeah, like by him. Right.
Like she was like, no, Dad, what's wrong with you? So he's got a twisted mind, but he will do. Paul Heyman said something that I think that was like the realest shit that was in this. He was like, his only love is the business, besides his like wife and his family. It's like his number one love is the wrestling business. He will do anything, like good or bad. He will do anything for the wrestling business. Doesn't matter who he hurts, but he's helped a lot of people in getting the WWE to what it is. It's $1 billion company. So he's the American dream. He came from nothing, and he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
No, I mean, than like a Trump.
That's why
he's super fascinating.
Like,
yeah, he is.
This wasn't very good. It shouldn't have been called Mr. McMahon. It should have been called
a trip down memory lane, a historical look at the eras of WWE.
Well,
also he's like to your point, Terrence. Like that's why his brain doesn't register somebody not wanting to do something, because he will do literally anything.
He was like, business. You're selfish for not doing this bit. It's like, bitch, yo, that's incest, Dad. What's wrong with you? Oh, he's crazy. He's a fucking lunatic, but like, hey, it got him to where he is today. And unfortunately, it got him to where he is today also.
Well, yeah. I mean, he is a deeply fascinating guy. Like, I feel like at least it sounds like to me that they did this documentary solely because they're getting ready to have the WWE on their network. So it's to kind of gin up a level of interest, right? For people, who maybe don't have as much knowledge about it as you guys do. They can go, oh, okay, like it's kind of a quick 6-hour kind of catch up thing, and then you can just go, and now WWE next year is going to be on Netflix, and people go, all right, cool. I watched the last time on WWE documentary, and now I'm ready to go.
I don't know how long that deal was in play, because all of these interviews were done in 2021 before any of this.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So that's
and they make it a point to tell you that every episode is like all of these was before any of the sexual assault cases popped off. And it's him sitting there. They have like 100 hours worth of interview footage, and the way they cut it together, again, I don't see what the problem was. Like, he's an asshole. But like they made it like he was gonna be like just straight smeared, and I'm like,
I can't get that they put out that press release they put out.
Yeah, I'm like
this is gonna be real bad.
And that's what I want to talk. But that's the last point I want to make. I can't help but to think that I got worked with that fucking press.
Yeah, that was
press
release,
it was a work.
It
was a work because this motherfucker would do anything. Will it help? Will it help us?
You're right.
Will it help WWE on Netflix? Well, I'll say that I want to try and buy it so that I can silence it. And then that shit got me to watch 6 hours of it. I fucking got work
before they took it off of Netflix. He worked like he's always thinking about the business show, even when he ain't in it no more.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. It does kind of prove how good he is at it.
He's P.T. Barnum, dog. He is. He really is, man.
He's an excellent carnival barker. Like he is.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even think of that shit, man. God damn, he got us.
I mean, like, look,
nigga, man.
Like when I saw that, I was like, oh, I need to see this. Like,
exactly. Everybody said that shit.
Like, oh shit, son. And Vince is like, yeah, oh shit, son. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. At the end of the documentary, it should have cut, or he should put out a press release like next week and be like, "It was me, fans. It was me all along." God damn.
Yo, I guarantee. Yo, now that you say that, Micah, he won. That's 100% because it's not that bad. It really isn't.
Not that bad. It's
not bad at all.
And he is like. He is very self-aware, right? Mm-hmm. Like he knows he's a dick. He knows that like the territory system, like nah, I'm gonna take it over because I want to win. Because I want to. Like he knows who he is.
Yeah.
Like even like he even says like, "Whoa, what will my legacy be? I don't know. I changed the business forever and." I have a voracious sexual appetite. Like, calm down, nigga.
I was like, what? Yo, chill, nigga. What's wrong with you?
God damn.
He's a carnival.
Yeah,
like he is.
Yeah, he's good. He's very good at what he does. He was gonna sue WCW for the exact same thing he did to the fucking territory.
Right. Like,
and the guy was like, "Well, don't you think that's a little hypocritical?" He's like, "I don't know.
I mean,
It's
I
all
can see some
business,
people would
but-
say that, but it was different. He pulled the fucking Vanilla Ice shit. Their beat goes dun 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 dun. Mine is dun 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 dun. Like
Totally.
It's again, it didn't do much for me, but like, he's a wild dude. He's just a fucking. Like, it's just the fact that it was his words.
I
knew
really,
the whole story, but it's his words. It's funny. It's fascinating.
I still think there's been that talk that they're going to do a Vince McMahon like movie. Look, wait till he dies and then do it. And then just go like, because then like your kids can speak freely, like, you know what I mean, like everybody can feel like they can just like really say some shit.
Well, Shane was like, nah, that nigga was kind of an asshole.
yeah, Shane.
Do they not have much of a relationship at this point?
Not as much as they possibly could have. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, after he came out that after he became Latin with that Carlos Danger mustache, like, I don't know, it was fucking over with. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're a wild dude. All right, that's cool. Like, yeah, I think I'll hold off on that then. I watched the first 2 episodes of Agatha All Along on Disney Plus. This is the new Marvel TV show starring Catherine Hahn. Yeah, I like it. My biggest comment about this is this show should be lit with bisexual lighting because it is the gayest thing that's on TV. It is. It's super gay. Micah, did you watch the first 2 episodes yet?
No, I haven't. I'm not into witches and shit.
Right.
So if you say that the show is worth watching, I might check it out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check out the Penguin first.
I would argue that's a better show. Yeah, it's like it doesn't feel out of step with like anything that we've seen in the MCU necessarily, right? Like even though it's like witches and stuff, like they don't, like, at least in the first 2 episodes, they haven't like really kind of gone full bore into that. But it is like it's interesting, right? Like the whole idea of she's still in this town and trying to like kind of get herself out of like what happened with Wanda and everything else is kind of interesting. Like she has this view of like this made up sort of world in which we're dropped into when it starts. And so I'm like, why is Catherine Hahn acting like this? But she's kind of being like a local cop. It's kind of like what was the show with Kate Winslet?
Mayor of Easttown.
Yeah, Mayor of Easttown, right? Like it's very similar to that. But then she kind of gets snapped out of it, and then you're kind of pulled into like the real world as they start to set up like what the journey of the show is. But yeah, no, it's like it knows what its demographic is, right? Like it very much knows its demographic is the LGBTQ community and women. Like it's very much like this is our demographic. We're fucking firing right down the line. And I know that I'm correct because apparently right-wing people were like, this is indoctrinating kids into being gay. And I was like, yeah, okay, then it hit its mark.
Yeah.
Like, of course. But yeah, it's perfectly fine. Catherine Hahn is really good. Like I've seen I read a few like parts of a reviews from like sort of the bigger outlets, and I tend to agree with them. Like the writing is fine. Like the show in and of itself, the story they're telling is fine. The characters themselves are actually really strong. Like the acting from like Aubrey Plaza and Catherine Hahn and these other actresses is kind of fun. Like they're actually having a good time, and like they have really, really good chemistry. So yeah, I it's not like, oh, I'm like so engrossed as I'm watching it, but like, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not offended. I know the reviews have not been great, but I chalk that up to it being starring women and having anything to do with gay people. So, it's like that's kind of the par for the course at this point. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's certainly pretty enjoyable. And then the Penguin. You said you have not seen the Penguin either, right?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. Highly recommend. It does a really, really good job of sort of dumping you back into that world of the movie. Colin Farrell's really fucking good. Like he's crazy good in this role. They kind of give him a bit of a kind of a Tony Soprano kind of thing, right? Like this real piece of shit mobster, but like you kind of like him, and he's got these sort of lighter parts about him as you kind of find out about him. But you're like, I mean, like this nigga's still a piece of shit. Like don't get it fucking twisted. But it's good. It's good. And like where things are going post the Batman, as the mob is trying to like kind of take over these parts of the Gotham and stuff like that, and you get to see a little bit more Gotham. It's good. And it gets brutal. Like it's like Kingpin in Daredevil kind of brutal, right? Like there's moments where I was like, I was not expecting that. And yeah, it gets pretty violent and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good. Highly recommend.
All right,
Terrence, you watched Blink twice.
Yeah, I did. It's good. I enjoyed what I watched. And then 20 minutes after watching it, I'm like, that didn't make any fucking sense. At the very end of the ending of the movie. I like the movie. I like it. It's shot really well. Zoe Kravitz has a really good eye already. First movie is fucking good. It builds tension. It builds like from the very beginning of this movie. It's like something's off, right? It's like something just doesn't feel right, and that's the point of the movie. But everything happens. I don't want to give anything away, but by the end, I didn't understand. I understood it, but I'm like, how does this shit work?
Seems kind of hypocritical. Seems kind of hypocritical.
Here's the thing. I don't know if it's hypocritical what I'm saying, because like,
how does the thing work? Right.
What's the time frame?
Right. Exactly. Like,
and it
wait a minute.
Threw me off a little bit.
Like, is it perpetual or not? Like,
yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
That was kind of like,
the ending. The ending. I don't mind the way it ended. Yeah, you're right. The big, like the MacGuff, how the MacGuffin works is very, very suspect. And even like not the very, very end, but like right before the end, like the climax and like right before the denouement, like, well, wait a minute. How does when everything comes to a head, you're like, well, wait, huh? How does this stuff work? And
it's fast acting to acting, nigga. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I've heard about this. I'm not going to say anything, but I've heard about this. I'm very curious as to how that works as well. But
like again, it's a good movie. Like it's good. Like what's her name? The lead actress in there. Naomi Aki. I just like looking at her face. I don't know. I'm attracted to her.
She's super fine. She is like super fine, especially in this movie. And she's got good facial features. She got a big mouth, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Look, that's why I'm a fan of Rosario Dawson. Same reason.
Like I like pronounced features. That's why I like uniqueness in a face, not like ending up looking like everyone else, like we talked about yesterday.
Nene Lee.
Nene Lee looks fucking crazy at this point. But yeah, she's great. Like the cast was really good. I like Channing Tatum was good as a fucking really creepy dude. Alia Shawkat, her friend. I like that chick. I've seen her in some other stuff.
She's great. There was that one HBO show she was in. I can't remember what the name of it was. She was really good in that as well. So. All right, cool.
Christian Slater was in there. It's fucking weird. Simon Rex. It was a wild cast.
Haley Joel Osment was in it.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on?
No, he a creep in that movie. I've never seen a minute of it. I guarantee he's a creep in that movie, 100%.
It's a wild cast, but like it's good, man. I look, these fucking actors and actresses doing fucking movies. They've been knocking it out of the park over the last couple of years, man. They've all been like very good first time outings for these guys. But I check it out. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth checking out. Then I watched Cuckoo. This movie is another movie that I really enjoyed. And then at the end, I was like, wait a minute, I don't get it. Right? Like you watch movies and you're along for the ride. and then by the end, you're kind of like, they got to give you an information dump.
Yeah, that's not.
And it doesn't make any fucking sense. I had to go back and watch it, like, not the whole thing, but I had to watch the information dump section again with the subtitles to understand what the fuck this chick was talking about when it got to the point of what the thing was going on. And then it made sense. And I'm still kind of like, but what's the point? Why were you doing this? This is basically the movie takes place in like the Swiss Alps or something like that.
Germany.
This family goes to this.
Fuck that.
It's in Germany. I don't know where it takes place. This family goes to this resort, and the oldest kid, who's played by Hunter Schafer, some weird shit just starts going on, and she's trying to figure out what the hell is happening. And the actual monster in the movie is kind of silly looking, but it's not very scary. Again, like, I'm probably the wrong person to. Like, I don't think either of your wives will be able to deal with this movie because it's super creepy. And this is another one of these movies that, like, it builds atmosphere very, very well. There's some shots. There's this one shot that shows the monster for the first time. She's riding a bike, and they do something really cool to actually introduce what the actual creature is. It's fucking dope. But the movie is good. Like, all of the movies that I watched are really good. I'm gonna just give you all of that information now. The next movie is Substance, which is, I think, the best movie that I watched. This is about an actress that is, she's not necessarily, Demi Moore is in it. She's playing an over the hill actress. She's older, so no one's like picking her up for jobs anymore. So she gets this like USB stick and she puts it in her television, and it's like an advertisement for this stuff called The Substance. And she goes ahead and buys this stuff, and all hell breaks loose. Now, the thing about this movie is, like, people are calling it like the grossest movie they've ever seen. Again, I've seen a lot of terrible. I've seen a lot of.
They've seen Men, because that was one of the grossest movies I've ever seen.
This is, I mean, this kind of beats Men. I'll tell you that right now. It does. It does. Because this movie is like, this is not really giving anything. Well, The Substance, what happens is, like, The Substance makes a younger, better you. Like, you take this shit and then, like, you become younger and more pretty or whatever. Now, there's rules into this stuff, the substance that you have to take. Once you take it, it's called an activator. You take it, and then once it does its thing, you have to stabilize for 7 days, right? You have to do it. And then after 7 days, you have to switch. If you don't follow these rules, shit goes left. And let's just say shit goes left. This movie, I don't know, I can't remember what the director is, a woman. A lot of nudity, a lot of ass shots in it, but it's not like sexual. It's kind of just like, hey, it's a woman. Like, it's all about like the male gaze and like body standards. Again, shit we talked about yesterday, body standards in Hollywood or just in general, and like just not wanting to age gracefully or just being who the fuck you are. Yeah. This is basically, someone else has already said this, but as I was watching it, I'm like, this is basically Kubrick and Cronenberg had a baby.
So like it's super fucking gross. Got it. Good.
Well, no, yeah, it's Cronenberg gross. It's pretty fucked up. But it's shot really well. Like, it looks so good. Like, Demi Moore is just going all in. She's great in it. The young chick, I can't remember what her name is.
Then she's a perfect person to be in a movie about refusing to age.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, hey, I'm going all in. Fuck it. And it works. Her performance is wild, especially towards the end. The last 20 minutes is some of the wildest shit I've ever seen. What's the other, the young chick? Margaret Qualley, I think is, what's that woman's name? She's the daughter of some actress. I can't remember what her name is. She's very good. Dennis Quaid is good in it. It's funny. This is an actual dark comedy. I think I was laughing at some sections I may not have supposed to have been laughing at, but
okay.
I've seen worse, so it didn't really.
Like, guys, I watched this hilarious movie. Yeah, it was awesome. Everyone's crying.
And Andy McDowell, that's her mother. She's Andy McDowell's daughter. She's a very pretty girl. It's good. Like, check it out. Don't check it out with your wives. That's all I'll say. And like, depending on, don't eat before you watch it.
Oh, damn.
Oh, come on, man.
Depending on how you're able to deal with like body horror, I wouldn't eat anything. Me, I was like, I think I had like a bowl of rice. It didn't. Again, I've watched Martyrs several times.
I don't know what that is, and I believe you.
Micah knows what knows what Martyrs is.
Yeah,
and like, yeah. So it doesn't. It's gross. I would tell you, it's disgusting, but like it's crazy. It's nuts. But people
why is it? Is that a chicken wing on the poster?
Of what?
Of the substance?
There's a couple of different posters.
Yeah, this looks like a chicken wing, which tells me it definitely isn't a chicken wing, and that's going to really bother me when I find out what it actually is. Yeah, all right, cool.
That's so very. It's good. I mean, it's a great fucking movie. Like people are saying, like Oscar buzz for her.
Yeah, I heard Demi Moore
for Demi Moore. Really wow. Okay.
Yeah. Sure. No, she goes all in. She's all in on this movie, and it's great. And the last movie I watched was Transformers 1. The trailer did not do this movie justice. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I heard this movie's pretty good, man.
Like, it's got crazy good ratings, man.
Like I heard this movie is like a Marxist movie. Like,
yeah, like the workers gotta like end up controlling the means of protection. It's fucked up. Like when you're watching it. It's against like corporations. It's super foul. It's super foul what like the higher ups in this movie do, and it's kind of like the relationship between Orion Pax and D16, which ends up being Optimus Prime and Megatron. Like Megatron goes from 0 to 100 really fast towards the end of the movie. I'm like, you got there really quick, my nigga. You way too quick, but the movie's only like an hour and 30 minutes, so they had to kind of do it like that. But like, you feel kind of bad for them. Like they were homeboys and shit. Like Orion Pax is kind of an asshole, not much of an asshole, but like he was always doing shit. And D16 is kind of like, hey man, I just want to do my job and go home. You keep putting us in these wild situations, and I keep saving you. And by the end, he's like, yo, I'm tired of this shit. It's good. That's all I can say.
D16 is a D16 is Megatron.
D16 is Megatron. Yeah. And they explain why they explain why the Autobots are named the Autobots and the Decepticons are named the Decepticons, which I actually really enjoyed. It's not because they're they're not because they're cars. It's because of the situation that happens. And I'm like, oh, that's clever. I don't know if that's lore. I don't know shit about the Transformers, but I thought it was really clever how they got there.
Oh, nigga, they're gonna be in the comments. First of all, like, all right.
Yeah, first of all, look, I ain't watched the fucking Transformers since 1987. Shut up. Yeah, I watched Beast Wars in the 90s, so I like Beast Wars. The animation was terrible, but
it was fucking trash. I don't care what anyone says. It was awful.
But yeah, Transformers 1, like if you decide, I would take if you go to see it over the theater to see it, I'd take your children. They would have fun with it. The fight sequence is dope.
It like by all accounts, it's got an 88 on Rotten Tomatoes for critics and a 98 from fans, which is
it's really good. It's good. Like it's good. Like the kids will like the visuals, and again, it's not exactly it's a kids movie, but like the subject matter, kind of fucked up what these people did. Well, not people, but what what the higher ups did to fuck over the workers.
Yeah, I gotta indoctrinate him. I gotta indoctrinate him somehow with my anti-corporate Marxist beliefs. I'm just trying to prevent every fucking folks. Right. Corporations are not your friend. Don't be fucking super fucking loyal to them. Don't start fucking arguments over fucking corporations. My Apple phone is better than your Samsung phone. Who fucking cares? They don't.
Yeah, they're like, keep fighting amongst each other.
Buy both. I don't care.
Yeah. Right. my $1,000 phone is better than your $900 phone. Like, who fucking gives a shit?
Yeah. By the way, as you're saying this, like as you're watching this movie, you're like, yeah, indoctrinate my kids to this. And meanwhile, they're like, and when you leave the theater, don't forget to go buy a Transformers 1 doll. You dumb idiots! Like, god damn it, you got me again, Hasbro.
Right. It's really like, and also like I enjoyed their transformation from just them being worker bots to the actual Transformers. It's cool. Like it's a fun movie. I highly recommend it. Actually, I recommend every movie I watched. They were all good.
All right,
except for some plot points in the first two.
Oh, by the way, just a quick thing to amend. Early on, the talk was that the critics' rating for Agatha All Along were low. It's actually 79%. Like the more people watch it, they were like, actually, it's pretty good. So there you go. I don't know what Penguin is, but it got really high reviews early on. So my guess is it's also probably pretty. 94 and 90. So
God damn.
I don't know, man. You probably see it. Get to watch a guy get really fucked up at the end, which was pretty fun. All right, Micah, topics. Take it away.
Belgian actor Matthias
Schoenaerts.
Waffle. You can say just waffle. He's Belgian. It's fine.
Schoenaerts has nabbed the plum villain role in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, which Craig Gillespie is directing for DC Studios. Millie Alcock stars as Kara Zor-El, the cousin of Kal-El. Not Kal-El Cage, but Kal-El of Krypton, because that dude really named his son after Superman. The feature is inspired by the Tom King and Bilquis Evely comic and will depart from the earnest take on the character audiences may know from the CW Supergirl series. The story hews closer to the grand science fiction adventure that's standard superhero fare as the comics told of a young alien girl who seeks Supergirl's help in exacting revenge for the killing of her family. The villain of the comic, Krem of the Yellow Hills, is the man who killed the girl's father. That is who Matthias Wafflemaker is playing. Supergirl is drawn into the conflict when he injures everyone's favorite super pet, Crypto, the super dog. Well, I know who I'm rooting for.
Oh, that's mean. That's really mean. Okay, yeah. Look, this is the woman from House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
So, and I believe this guy is the guy from The Regime, the main dude from The Regime.
He was also what was that movie on Netflix you liked with Charlize Theron where they like could live forever or whatever? He was also in that movie.
The Old Guard?
The Old Guard, yeah. He was in that as well.
I think they're making a sequel to that, by the way.
They
didn't already make a sequel?
I feel like it did. I think it was already filmed, but I think it hasn't been.
Oh, hasn't come out yet. Okay.
Like it's been I want to say The Old Guard 2 was like filmed right before COVID or something like that, and then it just got shelved. So
The Old Guard was fine. It's not anything I'd recommend to people.
I don't really.
But
one.
Yeah, but you know.
Oh, Greg Rucka wrote the screenplay for the second one. Okay, cool. I don't know if he did any work on the first one. All right. Next up,
The Boys season 5 adds Daveed Diggs in a mystery role. I have not read The Boys in a very, very long time. I read it when I stopped when it started getting bad, and I vowed to never continue it after I saw the art style change. Because I'm, superficial like that. Amazon closed the deal with Daveed Diggs, the multi-hyphenate, who broke through on Broadway's Hamilton and has since starred in The Little Mermaid and the Snowpiercer TV series. Details on the role are being kept under wraps for the time being, but he joins a series as a series regular along with Carl Urban, Jack Quaid, Aaron Moriarty, Anthony Starr, et al. All right, and then the article just kind of goes into who Daveed Diggs
How
is
fucking
and
crazy
stuff that
talented
he's
he
done.
is.
Yeah.
I have no idea who he could play. No idea. But that's cool. All right. I mean, dude's pretty great. So, I've never really seen him in anything I didn't like him in. So, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that?
Shit was Blind Spotting.
Yeah, that was it.
I love that fucking movie.
Yeah,
I've
fucking
seen
super
it
good.
several
Good.
times.
Super
They
good.
wrote it.
Yeah.
The homeboy wrote that shit too. Yeah.
I never saw this show. I heard the show is pretty good. Not
Snowpiercer. Yeah. Blind Spotting. The show is
Blind
it's good.
not as
It's a little out there.
Oh, really?
They like niggas will just like because they're like artists, nerds and shit. Like what's his name? Like a slam poet, the white dude. So like the show will be going on, and then all of a sudden some niggas will just pop out of nowhere and start crumping and shit. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck was the point.
Are we still
just literally out of nowhere, like artistic dance, and that shit pisses me off because I don't like artistic dance.
I'm not a fan of interpretive dance. Like
interpretive dance, yeah. That's
like
what I'm
I don't like it.
What
This
you
is
doing?
the moon. This is sit down. Stop.
But yeah, it does that type of shit, and they might start like rhyming in prose and shit. I'm like, all right,
Yeah, okay.
you're about to lose me. Like, I still like it, but it's a good show. I would check it out. It's on Stars.
All right, there you go.
If you haven't seen it.
All right, Micah. Next up.
RoboCop continues to progress through the development process at Amazon MGM Studios.
Today I learned
the RoboCop TV series taps veteran Peter Oko,
sure.
as the writer, executive producer, and showrunner on the potential series based on the MGM movie franchise, with horror master James Wan on board to executive produce through his Atomic Monster banner. The series will follow the premise of the films, focusing on a giant tech conglomerate which collaborates with the local police department to introduce a technologically advanced enforcer to combat rising crime, a police officer who's part man, part machine.
I feel like everybody knows fucking.
What is this RoboCop? Make sure you leave his hand. No.
Look, man. RoboCop is an interesting premise. That the first one is great. I'm told the other ones are not.
You've never seen them?
RoboCop
2
2
is fine.
RoboCop
3
2 is fine.
That nigga got
3
a
had
fucking
ninjas in
rocket
it, right?
jetpack.
Nigga, 3 is
Yeah.
horrible. 3 is horrible. Is legitimately terrible. Two's okay. Two's okay. It's got like it's trying something slightly different. It's got some moments that work really well.
And I saw the original, and I saw obviously I've seen the original, and I've seen the remake.
You seen Rick Flag RoboCop?
Yeah, Rick Flag RoboCop.
Yes,
and
I didn't hate that movie. People couldn't stand it.
I don't hate it, but
It
it's
was
not.
fine.
It's not. It's
I
not,
was annoyed.
It's
by
not
that
very
movie.
good, but it's like
I was
by it?
really annoyed by that movie. Like it was like just stupid design decisions, like having him keep a real hand because like Murphy lost the original. Murphy lost his hand in the first one, so like we're gonna keep it now. Like shut up.
Yeah, like because you can always because it's like a man you can tell a good man by his handshake. Nigga, he's a robot. Like, yo, we don't care.
It might as well be a rubber hand, yo. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're just gonna have this man's decomposing hand coming out of this fucking robot? Like, all right. It just was dumb. It was dumb. And I didn't like the design of the new RoboCop. It was all black and
streamlined.
yeah, man. Like,
I didn't mind it
look like a ninja
streamlined.
and shit.
I didn't mind his
Like-
streamline. I didn't like the color. Like, just leave him gray. Like if you left him gray with the newer design, like that would have been perfectly fine. But
Isn't that what happened at the end? They finally like gave him like the original paint job. Or am I tripping?
I think so.
I
It's
don't
been
remember.
a while since I saw that.
I can't remember. I've only seen that movie once, and I don't care to see it again. And then they cast fucking this is Katana. Her, be careful around her. Her sword steals the souls of its victim. Like he wasn't
good.
No, he wasn't good, man. He wasn't good. Like, cause that guy has one speed, and you need kind of Alex Murphy to have a little bit of personality to juxtapose him becoming a cyborg, and then the struggle of him trying to maintain his humanity while also being a fucking robot. Like, that's the classic, like, cyborg thing. And he couldn't do it. I'm looking at this nigga was this nigga was a head and a pair of lungs and a random hand.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I'm looking at
when they took the whole body off, it was just it was weird.
What are we doing? Like, you
like the hand
shit.
really, the hand really doesn't make sense. Like, why would you give him anything that is even remotely vulnerable in the middle of a fight? He has a hand that's holding a gun. Blow his hand off, and now he has one less thing to use against you. That's a terrible design. In the words of Red from fucking the '70s show, or the scientist in RoboCop, lose the hand. Like, it doesn't make any sense to have it. It was dumb. Like that.
Never, not since Jay's rant about The Walking Dead have I been so just annoyed about a white guy's hand.
Exactly. Get it out of there. Get it out of there. Yeah, like they did a weird thing in this movie. Wow, it's really been a long time since I've seen this because I saw it in theaters and I was like, that's enough. Like, okay, they did a thing where they gave him sort of the classic suit, and he was like all big and bulky, and they're just like, this didn't work. And then they gave him like the streamlined one that was all black in the end. And Terrence, you're right. At the very end, they gave him like the classic paint job. Why didn't you just do that? Like, just
I get it, right? Toys, right? I get it, but like, nah, yo, like it's too. He's not a ninja. He's a fucking robot, yo. And it didn't. And it all looked like plastic, plating. It didn't look like metal.
Yeah, it looked rubber almost.
Honestly. Yeah, it looked rubber. Yeah. All right, man. All right.
So, minus the aesthetics, because they got those wrong. I think RoboCop the TV show. There was a RoboCop TV show which was really not good. Terrence, I don't know if you remember this. I don't think Mike has ever seen it. No. I think it was like 2 or 3 seasons. It was real bad.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think I did see that. Yeah,
it didn't have. Okay. Yeah, it didn't have. It did not have Peter Weller and his giant fucking Peter Weller head. But like that didn't work very well. But I think it's really going to be difficult. By the way, this is at Amazon, so if anybody could pull it off, I would trust HBO or Amazon to do it.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, everybody expects. I kind of blame Paul Verhoeven a little bit for this. I think everyone expects it to be satire, where I don't think it necessarily has to be. I just think it has to be talking about something, right? And they tried to make it about sort of the militarization of the police in the 2014 version. But I think people just didn't see it being satirized, so they just assumed it wasn't saying much of anything. Not that it did a good job in talking about the militarization of the police. I think people said, we want satire. If it's not satire, like, this is a waste of time. So I don't know if they would go back to doing satire. That's not easy to do without making it seem almost silly as a television series. So I don't know. I think this is the aesthetics and all that, I think, are not hard to pull off. I mean, you could certainly do better than they did in 2014. But I think the idea of what is the style of the show is going to be what really determines whether people are into it or not.
Yeah, like what's the point?
I'm having a difficult time kind of figuring out what, like you said, Terrence, what the point is, right? Like, is it just going to be like a police procedural, but with a cyborg? Like, we can't just have that, right? Like, I'm sure maybe if they do like week to week, then some of that could be there. But like, you got to talk about something, right? Like, you got to talk about like how the police are corrupt and how these corporations are corrupt and how the peanut butter and chocolate of corruption is making the worst fucking Reese's peanut butter cup ever, right? Like, it's gotta say something, not just.
I mean, it could be going after corporations, right? Like this idea, just like the original movie, this idea that you having corporations are having more and more influence over the police and sort of the military state. And, RoboCop is like ultimately kind of fighting back against that, from the kind of ground up. Maybe I could see that. That could be interesting. Micah, you mentioned offline, we were talking about this. It's got to look dirty. Like, it's got to look gritty. And the idea of it not is really going to do kind of major damage to this.
Yeah, we have to kind of like, it's funny that I guess it was set in some sort of near future Detroit. But it looked like a goddamn post-apocalyptic,
I mean, that's just
disaster. Right. Like, so, it's got a kind of like, it had that like 80s, like dirty 80s, future to it. And I another one of the reasons that most recent RoboCop, that Rick Flag RoboCop movie didn't really do it for me is it just looked too clean, and I gotta see havoc and shit run amok where the police are forced to do this, right? But I don't think that's what this would be. I think this would be, the police are like, hey, we welcome you. Hey, corporations, come and bring us your wares. We want to, which I guess could work if, I don't know. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious enough to see what to give this first couple of episodes a shot, if it manifests.
I mean, here's the thing. I would be shocked if they don't get this off the ground, honestly. Just because I feel like there is definitely an audience there. I mean, I'm watching a clip from the movie, the 2014 movie. There's something about this that just doesn't feel good. Like, it just feels shitty and like doesn't make sense. Like, in this universe, they're doing a field test with RoboCop, and they're having him like, they've got like a human, who's like going after him or whatever. But the field test has 53 fully functioning robots.
Oh, in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Rorschach was the bad guy, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that nigga said he got the "I'll buy that for $1" line, which didn't make any sense when he said it, and it was. Just
I don't even remember.
Yo, you're just throwing it in there just to throw it in. This is the worst type of like nostalgia bait, man.
But like, why do they need a RoboCop if they have fully functioning robots? Like, why do they need a human with a hand?
I forgot what the reason was for. There was a reason that they were like, let's set this guy up because he had like more humanity than the robots or some shit like that. Yeah, wasn't it? It was Michael Keaton.
Look, Michael Keaton had the best line in that movie, which we have quoted many times on this show. If people have ever been paying attention, people don't know what they want until you give it to them. It's the best line in the entire movie, and it's absolutely true. Yeah, this movie's not good. 2014 RoboCop is not good. It fucking sucks. So, all I can say is if they could do as well as RoboCop 2, I would be happy with that.
Is it going to be Alex Murphy? I'm assuming
it has to be. Well, the RoboCop?
No, it doesn't. It could be anybody.
It could be
anybody.
A black RoboCop.
It could be a black woman.
You know what's fine. Good. That's like who is a black woman that would piss every fucking white
Hollywood?
Lizzo will be the new RoboCop. Just make everybody angry for no reason.
Oh man.
Yeah, that movie that show would have a couple of issues getting off the ground. I think people would be pretty pissed. Look, I don't know. Like if you do Alex Murphy, that's fine. If you don't, you decide to do somebody else, that's also fine. But if you're gonna do it, dig into like the idea, like Micah said, like with the humanity aspects, right? Like as the original RoboCop, he's like going to his family's home and shit, and they're like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he's like, "I gotta go." Right? Like he's all like kind of fucked up, and like have that aspect, have the corporate, douchebag aspect, and all that other shit. Like that's perfectly fine, but make it
like the whole
meaningful.
The whole like thing with RoboCop is like you can kind of take that to mean like what actual cops are like have to do or what they're supposed to do, right? Like cops nowadays, they don't think, they don't have like the human element anymore.
Yeah, they're like
right?
those fucking robots in the
right, exactly.
Version.
We need robots to show them how to be human.
And that can be like, wait a minute, like I'm programmed to do this, but this doesn't make sense, right? This person is like obviously we need RoboCop to tell real cops how to fucking think on their feet. You know what I mean?
You know what? That's actually a pretty interesting angle, right? Like this idea that this robot is showing is the sort of the crux of like what it is to be a cop and human. Right, like that sort of.
That's all cops are, right? They're fucking programmed to think a certain way, to act a certain way, to shoot a certain way, to shoot certain people so many times a certain way.
It's broken.
Like
their programming is broken, like you said. So yeah, it's something seriously wrong. Their training is terrible.
Right.
That's actually a really good. That's a really good angle. I like that angle a lot, actually. But like,
and it won't happen. It won't happen.
It won't happen because like Americans love cops, right? For some reason.
But
like there's going to be a whole swath of people. There's going to be a whole swath of people like, oh, this is anti-cop propaganda for cops and all this. And like,
I prefer my cop propaganda with fucking dogs fighting crime or whatever for kids.
Like RoboCop has no choice to bring his work home because he's a fucking robot,
right? Exactly.
If he has a home to go to. But like you have to learn to keep your fucking home life and your homicide life on the streets life in the streets. You know what I'm saying? But they can't. I don't think cops can do that shit. And I think they should get like weekly therapy. I feel like that would work for cops.
Daily. You come in, sit down, let's talk about it. I don't feel so good. Yeah, we know.
They only get therapy when they like shoot somebody.
Yeah, they get that. Congratulations. Someone's already dead. Now let's talk about it. But no, I like that angle. Like what it is to be like what it is to be a cop and what it is to be a person outside of that. Like that's an interesting angle. If you get somebody really smart to write that, I think you could package that in a way that people would like give a positive response if there's enough shooting. Like there's just got to be enough like good old fashioned violence. Like, yes, he's having these troubles, but like he mowed down a lot of bad guys at a warehouse, and then he dumped fucking toxic sludge on that one guy, and he was like, "Rrr," and then he died, and they hit him with a truck. Like that was in a movie. That was one of the most fucked up things I ever saw as a kid. I was like, I feel very uncomfortable with this scene. I'm scared. It's awesome.
Well, maybe you shouldn't watch The Substance. Who does Peter Ocko do? What has he written?
Lodge 49 or something.
Office, Lodge 49. He worked on Weird Science, Parker Lewis. Hey, remember Parker Lewis Can't Lose?
Oh shit,
Parker Lewis.
Dead Like Me and Pushing Daisies.
No, but you know what? All of those shows have like serious cult followings. Like,
Dead Like Me is actually really good.
Like Dead Like Me and Pushing Daisies. People I never saw, Pushing Daisies, but people were like really pissed when that show got canceled. And obviously, The Office is super popular. The Leftovers apparently was really, really good as well. A lot of people really, really like that one. It's about like people being raptured up to heaven or whatever the fuck.
Oh, the HBO show.
Yeah.
That was another one of those shows that what's the name didn't really finish.
David Lindelof.
Lindelof. Yeah,
he was like, "Do you guys like that? Cool, let somebody else handle it. I got to get the fuck out of here." So yeah, I mean, if he's worked on those shows, that's a pretty good
sign.
That's a pretty good sign. Yeah.
Again.
RoboCop. All right.
I don't know.
Let's see.
I like to. I want to see a trailer. What is it? Yeah. I want to see what the premise is going to be like. Like you guys came with a really good premise. I'd watch that. I'd watch that for $1.
Very good. Thank you.
Anyway.
Hey, it made more sense than when Jackie Earle Haley said it in that 2014 version.
All right. Next up, Kyle Chandler in talks to star in the HBO show Lanterns, which is a Green Lantern show, as Hal Jordan. Okay. I don't think anyone saw this one coming. Dude was
How old is Hal Jordan supposed to be?
65. I have no idea.
Because I just looked at the age of Kyle Chandler. He's 60.
I mean,
He'll be 60 next year. He's 59.
All the people that they were talking to, that names were being dropped, were all around this age, which was surprising, I think, to a lot of people. But they're looking for a younger Jon Stewart to be kind of his partner in crime here. Micah, you're a huge Green Lantern fan, and by that I mean you know more about it than anybody here. How do you feel about it?
So you and your father know more than about it. Than all of us.
Is the reason I started reading Green Lantern. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I gotta figure this guy out somehow. Let me read Green Lantern and see if it helps me out.
It did not.
No, it didn't. I don't see it. Look, I don't know Kyle Chandler's work. I know he was in Friday Night Lights, a show about a high school football team in Texas or something like that. So, of course, I didn't watch it. But I've seen him in stuff, right? I've seen him in stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, it's that guy that kind of looks like Sean Hannity.
He does,
which is another reason why I don't like him for Hal Jordan. But like, I guess it kind of makes a little bit of sense. This guy's got like a fat face, man. This guy's got like a fat face.
What is Sean Hannity? But go ahead.
Yeah, I say that because I've never seen Hal Jordan drawn with a fat face. Look, this guy is always. I was watching a video about someone giving their opinion on this, and they pointed out how many of Kyle Chandler's roles are some sort of authoritative figure. In Friday Night Lights, he plays a coach. In Super 8, he plays a dad. In Godzilla, King of the Monsters, he plays like a military guy. So he was trying to make a case for it. He didn't really understand the choice either, but he's kind of, trying to justify it. I'm still having a hard time seeing it, but hey man, look, if you tell me this guy's a good actor, I'll believe you. I'm really curious about this show because I'm, for a lot of people, Hal Jordan is their Green Lantern, but for a whole other generation, Jon Stewart is. So I'm curious to see. I feel like Jon Stewart is going to be the Green Lantern that James Gunn's DCU is going to kind of go with.
Yeah,
but I'm just curious. I'm just curious how they would use Kyle Chandler as like the first Green Lantern, right? Like that character has a lot of story, right? Like his downward spiral to becoming Parallax is that could be a season of television. And is Kyle Chandler going to kind of be around for any of this? Or are we just going to...
Yeah, that's my question. Like, he's 59. Like, I can understand if they decided to go with an older Hal Jordan, right? And they want to have that older Hal Jordan, younger Jon Stewart. That makes sense. But I would have thought they'd go like maybe mid to late 40s.
Yeah.
Like and then like a 30-year-old,
to
like 25
30s. Yeah.
Like, that's the way I thought. But look, I'm not going to pretend that I'm not interested or suddenly like, oh, fuck this show. Like, I've never seen Kyle Chandler in a role that I thought was offensive. You know, like, I think he's a perfectly fine actor, right? He's like a good character actor. It now makes me that much more interested to see who they pick for Jon Stewart, right? Because like you said, I think that's the Green Lantern you're going to see sort of get pulled into the main universe. Fucking, hey, Superman, I'm like hanging out with you and shit. I think that's who you're more likely to see. And I think that they're aiming to make whoever that is like a big fucking star. So, what is it? Calvin Harris Jr. Or Calvin Harris Jr., the dude who played Loose, that movie we did on Black and Black.
Oh, yeah. He's a good actor. I like that dude.
Yeah, no, he is very good. He was in Waves. He was in Chevalier or whatever. I've never seen him in anything that I thought he was actually bad in either. I think he can do intense really well, which I think is works well for him. The talk is that Desmond Idris is from Snowfall is also in the running. I've never seen much from him, but the little I have seen of that show, like clips and stuff like that, seems like a perfectly good actor. People seem to really like him in it. And then we just did a review of Rebel Ridge, which will be out later this week for Black and Black Cinema. People seem to be talking a lot about Aaron Pierre, who was the star of that movie, who I think is a pretty good choice, actually. So any of those guys seems pretty good to me. It could be, a dark horse candidate who we haven't thought about. I mean, they did pick Kyle Chandler for Hal Jordan, so you never know. It is just not a person I would have not even remotely on my radar. But any of those guys I'd be cool with. So you never can tell. So, all right.
Yeah. And look, I look forward to being wrong about this choice. And I hope he fucking kills it.
Look, it would be dope if it was like, oh shit, this was like not even remotely what I expected.
Sean Hannity as Al Jordan. Fuck yeah.
If only Combs was still around. 50 Cent sets Diddy abuse allegations docuseries at Netflix. Quote, it's a complex narrative spanning decades. Netflix is producing a docuseries from Curtis 50 Cent Jackson about charges of sex trafficking and racketeering, as well as sexual assault and violent abuse allegations against Sean Diddy Combs. Alexandria Stapleton directs the project, which is currently in production. Quote, this is a story with significant human impact. It is a complex narrative spanning decades, not just the headlines or clips seen so far. We remain steadfast in our commitment to give a voice to the voiceless and to present authentic and nuanced perspectives. While the allegations are disturbing, we urge all to remember that Sean Combs' story is not the full story of hip-hop and its culture. We aim to ensure that individual actions do not overshadow the culture's broader contributions. Okay. I think people should be leery of this. And not because of what it's going to say about Diddy. Those things I have zero issues with. I hope he goes under the jail. I am very skeptical that this is, because 50 Cent is involved in this, that this is not going to be, it has the potential. I'm not saying it's going to, but it has the potential to focus on shit that I think it should not focus on. Because he often focuses on the fact, no, he does. Like you listen
what?
to it. He's always like, oh, he's always, Diddy's always doing fruity shit and stuff like that. Like being overly concerned about his sexual orientation versus the actual abuse. And that, like, to me, is a dangerous game that I see a lot of people playing. Like being hyper focused on.
That's what everyone's doing online. Like I get the
Exactly.
jokes
And
that
that's
he had 1,000 bottles of baby oil. I mean, I that's fucking insane. First of
but
all,
by the way,
like seven,
I have something to mention about that, but continue because there's maybe a twist.
uh,
But go ahead.
it's like 700. Like it's just a whole bunch of like the salacious shit. It's like, but again, once again, we're much like the what's that? What was
The basketball.
Dwight Howard shit?
Yeah.
We're burying the lead. Like these people, like again, sex parties. I have no problem with none of that shit. Like you do your freak shit. Like let your freak flag fly. The
Right.
problem is consent.
Yep.
Like if there was unconsenting adults and you were doing this shit, that's where you fuck up. Like I don't care about what you were doing, but like who you were doing it with and whether they were actually, if they wanted to go along with it. If they weren't, if they didn't want to go along with the shit, then yeah, go to jail. Because the sex trafficking, I don't know. Like I don't know how that works. If you like order a prostitute and like she has to travel to a different state, is that called? Is that, can they consider that sex trafficking? If she was like,
Yeah, I don't know.
sure,
I don't know the ins and
I
outs.
don't. Yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know if they can get them on that unless that they were coming to these parties and then they were being coerced into doing some shit that they didn't want to do, but they're like sex workers. No, again, they may have been doing some shit that they were like, nah, I'm not doing that, and he somehow forced them to do that shit. That's fucked up. But again, people are like making the jokes about shit, and it's not really funny. I mean, some of it is, but like that's all you're focusing on, and it's super fucked up. Like he's in jail right now because, and he also had like guns with shaved off serial numbers. Like, fuck with that.
Yo,
nigga, you're a billionaire and you live in Florida, nigga. Like they have open carry. You got goddamn gun license. What's wrong with you? Or unless you were doing that shit to do some illegal shit. He did blow up Kid Cudi's car, so that's like arson. They got him for arson. There's a whole bunch of shit that they're trying to get him on. That dude's a bit of a scumbag. And again, this shit has been known for like 20 plus years. So it's not like he didn't do any of this. He did. It's just whether people were consenting adults or not. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I think the woman that's going to be doing the directing, who's going to actually produce this, I think she'll actually do her due diligence.
I hope so.
Like, oh, that nigga gay, yo. Like, all right.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Bro.
I'm like
Again, I'm not.
fiction
That's what I'm saying. I'm leery about it. I'm not saying it's going out.
Yeah.
I'm just leery about it because I think the messenger does matter, right? Like, and yes, I'm glad that this woman is directing.
He's producing it, so,
right?
But and I don't think he's ever liked this nigga to begin with. So.
No, but I see what you're saying, right? Like
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. The reason why it's getting produced is because this nigga put his name on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
It's still his money,
and right, it's still his money. But he's also a pretty savvy business person. I almost called him smart. I don't think 50's smart. I don't think he's dumb, but I don't think he's smart. Right?
Savvy, shrewd. These are words I would use.
Yeah, that's what 50 is. But he likes to joke and he likes to play, but he don't seem like the type that
he don't play about his money.
Right. He don't seem like the type that'll fuck up some money just to get a gay joke off. You know what I mean?
Again,
he'll do it after the documentary is
he'll tweet the shit out, but he's going to put it in the documentary.
Yeah. So look, again, that's just my thing. And to Terrence's point, like that's a lot of what I've seen online too. I'm like, you realize that what you're doing is actually hurting people ultimately, right? Because what the message that you're putting out is that it is far more damaging to your career as a celebrity or whoever. It's far more damaging to your life to be outed as being gay than it is about all the other shit that he did. Because that's the stuff that you're kind of pushing down as not being that big of a deal, but that he's gay or bisexual is the biggest deal. So then people go, cool, I'll just keep doing all the dirty shit. As long as they don't know I'm bisexual or gay, then it's fine. Like, no, you got that shit flipped. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. It's all the dirty, terrible shit that you're doing, right? But side note, this I found incredibly interesting. The baby oil thing. Why the fuck would somebody have 1,000 bottles of baby oil? Seems odd. Seems like a really weird thing to have, right? Except for when... What's that?
Slip and slide?
Well, maybe. Or that's disgusting. But or as somebody I saw pointed out, and I looked this up, it seems to actually be accurate. It could be bottles of a drug called GHB. GHB is is
That's
a
a date
liquid.
rape drug,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And one of the things it does is you take too much and you go into a coma. You get feeling, if you take the right amount, you get feelings of fucking euphoria and all this other shit. By the way, if you want to watch something very funny and kind of like super interesting, Tom Segura OD'd. The comic Tom Segura, he OD'd on GHB. That was a drug he used to use. And he talks about like that whole process of what that was. And he was like, GHB is amazing. He used to do it all the time. So one of the nicknames.
Wait, is GHB in baby oil?
No.
Okay.
GHB, literally there are stories, I was just looking it up, of stories of the date rape drug concealed as bottles of baby oil from China. Yes.
What the fuck?
Yes, Jesus, and if you read up on GHB, one of the things is that it has a very oily like feel to it. And so this idea that it's just baby oil, it may not be baby oil. It actually may just be 1,000 bottles of GHB, which considering all the shit that he's accused of makes a fuck ton more sense than just fucking baby oil from Dwayne Reed and like her 7-Eleven or whatever, right? Like this makes a lot more sense. One of the nicknames for GHB is liquid ecstasy. So
Jesus.
Right. So again,
not so funny now, is it, nigga? You know what I'm saying? Like if that's the case,
right?
Okay.
Also,
like he had liquid IVs and shit. When again, that's a lot. There's a lot going on with that nigga.
Like nigga, I'm good.
I'm waiting for the story to come out that he was handing that shit out like party favors after the parties. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Like apparently, like Segura talks about in the stand-up that he does about it. He was like, "No, you take a capful, like it comes in like a water bottle. You pour just a capful and take it, and like that's it." And he mistakenly like did way more and just he was fucking blacked out, and he woke up and they were fucking. He was in the emergency room, hooked up to shit, and his parents are like, "Oh my God, what did you take?" And he had like a little like notepad that he could like write barely. And he wrote heroin. And they're like, "You did heroin?" He was like, JK. Sorry, Dad. He's such an asshole. But yeah, you should watch it. It's like a 15-minute little stand-up. He talks about it.
Tom Segura's 44 years old.
Yeah, we're the same age. That's crazy.
What the fuck, dog? I thought the nigga was in his 50s.
Yeah, no. It's rough out there for white people. It really is.
White age like crazy. And he's half like Spanish or some shit like that. Puerto Rican or something. His mom is like Spanish. Yeah.
Tommy. Also, one of the other nicknames for GHB is Goop, which I just found to be funny. Gwyneth Paltrow is trafficking drugs. But yeah, no, I'm very leery about. I'm just leery about sort of the overall narrative that people have. But look, I don't think 50 Cent is the best messenger for these things. I really don't. That being said, I think 50 Cent is fucking hilarious. Like, I don't have a problem with him as a person. It's just that in things like this, I want to make sure that like when you put this information out there, be above board, man. Like, just keep it above board. Look, we all want to see this nigga get put under the jail, no doubt. I just don't want any bullshit. Like, don't give people a reason to think it's bullshit. That's just my biggest thing. Because it's serious.
FBI, it's the government.
Yo,
they ain't gonna arrest you unless they got that shit got you on lock.
He had cameras all around his houses, taping people, engaging in all the sex, and apparently like using that as leverage above them. And the government's like, cool. Thanks for making all these tapes of you doing crimes, you dumb asshole. We'll take all of that. Idiot. So no, they got that. They got this nigga dead to rights. Like, you're done. Oh well.
And the people on the camera could be like, "Yeah, I was drugged. I don't know what the fuck is going on."
Yeah, I mean, but like, also, there's probably going to be plenty of people who are knocked out while this shit is happening, which is fucked up.
Man, that's fucking. Why, dog? Like, you're a fucking billionaire. Well, that's why.
Yeah, because they're scumbags.
I think you're above the law, Once you become that rich, you think you're fucking above the law.
Because you are.
Because black. Okay, bro.
Yeah. No thanks. I'm good. Like,
never trust anybody. Never trust anybody that's like, oh, it's all love, man. Love, man. It's all good, man. Everything's good, man. Nah, don't worry about it. Nope.
Yeah. Call me love. No, nigga, I will
I'm
not.
not doing that.
I'm not calling you that shit. I'm barely calling you Sean. The fuck?
Yeah, nah.
Like,
I'm good. Go to jail, yo. Just go to jail. All right. First up, this is a real trailer for Amazon series Cross, starring Aldous Hodge as Alex Cross, and we actually have a release date finally. Even though this has already been renewed for a second season, which is fucking hilarious. November 14th. What did you guys think of this trailer?
Yeah, this is good. I'm excited now. I definitely want to see it. Like that other trailer, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but like a real trailer, I'm in. Looks good. I like the direction it's taken.
Micah?
It's not enough Tyler Perry in it, guys.
Don't say that. I'm about to turn this shit off. You look like that nigga, man. Fucking terrible ass movie.
Look, yeah, I always imagined Alex Cross to be a slightly older gentleman.
Yeah, he's not. It's really weird.
But
Morgan Freeman is Alex Cross for like 10 years.
Yeah, not that old, right? Not like in his 70s. But look, man, I am all for watching a police kind of procedural, and one that stars a black dude. We'll see. I can only imagine some of the complete, like, super lefty people that I watch on YouTube complaining that this black cop is not going to save us or whatever.
I've seen it.
What?
I saw that video.
I was like, all right, bro. Like, calm down, bro.
Yo.
Just calm down. Like,
he's not gonna save us. He's on TV.
Oh no, it's a whole.
It's a thing, yo. It's a whole thing.
Trope. It's a trope about like black cops being on television, from like Ice-T to movies and shit like that.
Yeah, not everything is propaganda. Not everything is a fucking conspiracy and shit. Like, sometimes niggas just want to be entertained, yo. And we should be able to get to play some of these roles. Like, I get what you're saying, bro, but like, I
was like, my nigga, I turned that shit off. I was getting mad.
Right, like, calm down.
Come on, dude. Take it easy. Good Lord.
Like, I
don't like cops. I don't like them niggas, but like, look, it's entertainment. I'm not taking this shit, like, I'm not taking it at face. I'm taking it at face value. It's a TV show. Yeah. I'm not expecting. I hate black cops more than I hate white cops because them niggas is assholes. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like, none of this shit is helping. Like, none of this shit is making me look at them in a better light. It's just not.
Right. Like, most, you gotta give people the benefit of the doubt that, like, anybody that's been pulled over is not going to be like, well, my opinion of the police officers have changed because I watched this particular episode of Law and Order SVU. Like, what the fuck? Like,
come on, man. That's fucking. Now, I will say, this guy, Ben Watkins, who is working on the show, who's a producer on the show, he produced Burn Notice, Wu-Tang and American Saga. Oh shit, son! New York Undercover.
Classic.
So yeah, look. Oh, the reboot of the '90s crime. All right, no thanks. Like, look, I thought the trailer worked really well. I think Aldous Hodge. I read Along Came a Spider, which is weirdly like Taye Diggs did the reading for that, which was like jarring as fuck to me. I was like, why did you choose him? And then I was like, all right, this kind of makes sense. And then, like, there was a couple parts in it, like, they clearly re-recorded. I was like, this nigga's in his kitchen, yo. Like I can hear the singer. Like, it was just weird. Like, this is
somebody came and got a glass of water.
Yeah. I was like, you hear the chime, like, close the refrigerator, Tay. Like, all right. but like when I heard his voice, I was like, you don't sound old enough, right? Like, because I was thinking Morgan Freeman. But like when you actually listen to the content of the book, you realize, Morgan Freeman never made sense for that role. Like he's way too old. So like Aldous Hodge is actually surprisingly probably about the right age for the role. Okay. And it like that, at least the first book does a really good job of this kind of balance between him and his partner are working on this case about, I think it's like 2 black women are killed, and they're trying to solve that crime, and they get pulled into this other bigger case. And he's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, all right, whatever. These, kids got, snatched or whatever, like, because they're like they're like senators' kids or some shit like that. And it becomes like this big deal, but he's always hyper focused on the fact of like helping the black people in the part of DC in which he lives, right? Like, so this sort of draw between him being a black man and being a cop, much like our pitch for fucking RoboCop, is a very real thing. So I think that could work really well. And look, when it comes to book series adaptations, I mean, this is just kind of what Amazon does at this point. Like, they fucking kill the shit, especially these sort of darker, kind of fucked up stories, which I'm all about. So, all right. So November, which is pretty cool. Next up is Sinners. This is the Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan collab. This is what, their third movie together. This looks interesting. Like, quote, trying to leave their troubled lives behind. Twin brothers, both played by Bajordan, return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. Keep dancing with the devil. One day he's going to follow you home, is the quote of the movie.
This is their fourth, actually. They did Fruitvale Station, Black Panther,
Creed.
This, and Creed, yeah. This is the fourth.
Okay, yeah. I mean, technically, he was also in Wakanda Forever, but I don't, like that was like a fucking cameo, so that doesn't count. Yeah, okay, so fourth. They haven't missed yet.
Yeah, this looks cool. Like I just watched it before the show started. This looked really cool. Like I definitely want to check this out.
Yeah, some people had a problem with the accent. I didn't with Jordan's accent. I didn't.
I mean, I got
ear wrong a little bit for me, but I didn't hate it.
I don't think it'll take me out of the movie per se, but like I think I'll get used to it.
Yeah,
but nigga, you don't talk like that,
you don't talk like dude in Fruitvale Station either. But like we had talked about a couple weeks ago.
You don't talk like a dude from California.
Yo, his accent in Fruitvale Station was like, what did he keep saying? It was like, he kept saying like, bro, a dog or whatever. It was like every other word.
Bruh?
I was like,
bruh.
Yeah, bruh. It was just like,
bruh.
Like, this is a lot. Like, all right, we can just like, let's relax it a little bit. But like we talked about a couple weeks ago, he's just one of those actors where you go, I'm not expecting him to like do something like this. And then he's like, he kind of surprises you and kind of nails it. Especially working with Coogler. I mean, like, I don't know, like their connection is incredibly well established. Like they do such a good job together. So
I think I kind of put more of that on Ryan Coogler knowing his actor and being able to pull the specific performance out of him that he needs than Michael B. Jordan necessarily being a stellar actor. He's a good actor, and he surprises me in almost everything he's in. But I feel like Ryan Coogler brings out the best in him.
Oh, I wouldn't disagree with that at all. No, I mean his best movies.
Is this his vampire movie? Is this the vampire movie?
The horror movie?
Yeah. Okay. I think this is the vampire movie. I think this is the. It's got some real.
Remember they were saying he's got this. Yeah, I think this is it. This looks cool. Like this is my type of shit. Like I like this. Black folks fighting whatever the fuck they're fighting. I'm all for it.
And look, there's going to be a message in there. Like, that's what Coogler does. So, yeah, that's
Good
all right.
cast.
Yeah, it's a pretty goddamn good cast. All right. Yeah, I have zero issues with this whatsoever. So I'm all in for this. Then we get a I don't know what it's called, a teaser trailer. It's 3.5 minutes.
This is fucking ridiculous.
Like, it's not a teaser trailer. This is a fucking trailer. For Marvel Studios Thunderbolts. Look, I think this looks good. Like, I'm here for it. This little fight scene with all of them kind of battling looks good. Like, I think it's shot pretty well. It looks fun. Ghost looks dope. Taskmaster costume looks really good. Yeah, I'm here for this. This is fine.
Yeah, this is this is someone in one of my toy groups said, "Hey, look, it's all the Marvel. They put all the Marvel Legends that nobody bought in a movie." Which just amuses me. Yeah, they're the Avengers that nobody wanted, and Yelena is kind of going through some like depression or some shit, and same thing with John Walker. Look, it's more military MCU shit, so I'm gonna see it, and I think it looks pretty good. It looks like it'll be fun. It doesn't look like it's trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy, which was my big fear.
Yeah, you don't need that.
I don't need these people to get along in the end or whatever, right? Like, I need these people to be coworkers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need them to kind of work together to get a job done, and I need the conflict between them. I need the first Bad Boys. You know how Martin and Will Smith were like, they were always at each other. You know what I mean? But like, they got the job done. Yeah. That's what I need from this group of people.
You know what? I'm not mad at that analogy. That pretty much works. I do like that they're playing down Sentry a lot. It's like,
you kind of have to.
Like, he's just some guy. Like, no, he's not. Yeah.
That character like went toe to toe with the Hulk, yo. Like, you gotta kind of tone him down a bit.
It'll be interesting as he's sort of fully revealed, because he's like, "Hey guys, I'm Bob." It's like, you're a little bit more than Bob. Like, knock it the fuck off, Like, you're a terrifying individual. But it'll be interesting to see how they play this character. And I know the reason behind the way the title is written for this movie. So and I think anybody who kind of understands any sort of decent comic book history in the modern era probably gets it as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that's all revealed in the movie. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not interested. Like, I saw the trailer. It looks like it's gonna be fine.
You're still waiting on. You're just waiting on X-Men at this point.
Yeah, I'm pretty much like, I'm like, look, after Endgame, or I don't care no more. I don't give a fuck about the Marvels and the MCU anymore. I really don't. I'm like, look, let me see the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. I want to see what they do with them. I've been with these niggas for fucking 15 years.
It's a very large part of our lives.
Yeah, it's fucking 15 years, man.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
It's
a long fucking time. I was in my 20s when this shit started. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it, but like when it comes out on like Disney Plus or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I will see these in the theater. I don't have a problem in saying that, but at the same time, I'm not like, I'm hoping that what happens in Captain America, as that kind of branches off into this, like, I'm hoping that part of the world gets like big and important again, because that to me was the best part of the MCU, right? Like all the Cap shit was the best. So things are not, everybody is kind of just working in their own separate spaces, and everybody needs to start connecting up. That's what gets people fucking excited for this shit. So however that works, who knows? Until then, I guess we'll watch another Venom movie. Not me, but Micah mostly. Okay, maybe not Micah. Bad.
Isn't that like next month?
I have no fucking idea. I'm not seeing it. After I heard that Norman Reedus is playing the villain, I was super out. Get the fuck out of it. I'm not seeing it anyway. No, I'm not watching Norman Reedus ride on a motorcycle around or some dumb shit. All right. I'm good.
Exactly
Thanks.
a month.
Wow, dude, that's cool. I hope it does terrible at the box office. All right, that is it for us. I mean, I hope it makes money, I guess. Did they already get paid? Everyone already got paid, so I don't give a shit.
Everybody already got paid.
Yeah, so. Then I hope it gets $0 at the box office. Who am I pretending for? All right, that is it for us. We will be back next week with another episode.
See you.